Welcome back, episode 134 of the Grouch and the Brainstorm. I am Mike, joined today with Matt.
What's up?
And Lisa.
Hello.
Lisa.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing great.
Doing good?
I'm in from Texas, and it's been a great weekend.
Wow, we got 3 different states represented right here in this podcast. That is pretty cool. Anybody got any announcements? Matt, got anything?
We wrapped up Tri-State. No, I think it went really well. There was a lot of people there when I was there.
Hang on. Matt, hang on.
Come on.
You know we got to have the
I totally forgot, man.
That's because Alice is here.
Yeah, that's okay.
Tri-State wrapped up, man. From all accounts, it went really well. Went by, saw a lot of people we know, and it was nice deal.
Yeah. So for those out there who don't know what Tri-State is, it's Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana all get together once a year about this time in northwest Louisiana and have a conference of some sort where they have speakers and food, generally food and workshops and strippers, stuff like that. You know, the usual, everything but drinks. They just don't. Their cocktails suck at Tri-State. I can tell you that. Happy hours just not quite as happy as it is in some restaurants, but a lot of folks get together and go to that thing. And I am guilty of only going one time in the history of my sobriety. I have only been to Tri-State once, and then of course I went to that, the Southeast Louisiana Conference one time as well. Matt, you joined me down there for that. That was a same thing. It was a hoot. A lot of different areas in AA have those, and they spend here's what people don't understand. They'll spend a year, like they will literally start working on next year's Tri-State, probably the next month or so, and they'll have meetings and get a chairperson and start lining up the guests and the speakers, and it is a lot of pressure on some of these folks that take on the role of the chairman of Tri-State. They feel like if it doesn't go over well, it's I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things, I don't think it's necessarily a jolt to them, because if it doesn't go over well, it just doesn't go over well. And most of the time, nobody really knows who's in charge of it anyway. Like I couldn't tell you who it is, even the ones I went to, except for the one, that I spoke at down south. So, but it's a big deal. And a lot of people put a lot of energy into that thing. And, and then once it's over, it's over. And then they'll have another one in another year. So it's always good to see people go and participate. I think so anyway. Matt, you been up to anything past few days?
Man, I actually had lunch with Lisa while she was in town, and she brought a guy, Lisa and Nicole, who was on the other day, and Lacey and Ben and I, and we went and had lunch with a guy from down south Louisiana that was here for the convention, and that was really nice. We had fun, we act up. We don't even need liquor, we just act a fool. So
well, and some people do naturally.
I'm naturally.
Yeah, I get. We know. So Lisa moved to Texas before I even had left Texas. So you've been out there, what, about
I've been out there since the end of March. And I love it.
Yeah, you've been out there a while then. So you're going on for about 4 or 5 months. And what town?
I live in Tyler, Texas. Yes.
Tyler. Good old Tyler.
That's where I was born and raised.
So I worked for a company based out of Tyler, Texas for about 18 years before I took on the role that I currently have, that I've been doing for 20 years. So, I've been gone from that company for a long time, but I had to spend a lot of time in Tyler for, workshops, meetings, stuff like that.
Did the company start with a B?
But it's good to see you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Know them well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're still still there, still going strong out of that out
Yep.
of the East Texas. And I think the size of the company, believe it or not, when I started in 1988, they had just hit 5,000 employees. And that's not a lot, just to
Yeah.
let you know. I mean, that's the equivalent of about I don't know. It's not a lot, about 50 regular stores in the current environment I'm in now. And they had, I want to say, 126 stores, retail locations when I started. And I have no idea how many they had. They branched out into some other stuff, but now I know they have probably 18,000 employees.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been 30, 38, yeah, 30, 37, 38 years ago, whenever that we hit, I say we like I'm still there, but when that number was achieved, uh, the 5,000 number, that was a
Mhm.
huge deal to these guys. So, and I'll never complain about it. Great company
Absolutely.
to work for. I just had better opportunities come along, and fortunately, I think that's the way my higher power had it intended anyway, because had I not made that change, probably would have never been forced into getting into recovery and finding a new way of life. I grew up there. And so you had a lot of people there that would bypass certain things because the fact you had grown up there. And I got into the environment I'm in now, and it was like, we're not bypassing any of that. You're going to get some help or get some gone. And so, but a good company to work for. I will say that I really did enjoy that time of my life. And we have these working relationships with people. I think that was the biggest part, especially growing up in that company, is we have these working relations with people. We see them every day. We go out to eat with them. We get to know them. We know their families. We know their kids. We know everything about them. And then there comes a day where you leave, and all of a sudden nobody knows you
Absolutely.
anymore. I mean, you just, and I haven't talked to the last person I talked to from them old days. Been gone, been gone. So, I mean, not been dead or anything, but just hadn't talked to him since. Matt, you talked about Lisa wanting to talk about a topic, and I think that is a very good topic. And I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but we do need to talk about it. And it is Kitchen
Mhm.
AA.
Yes.
Kitchen AA. So I'm gonna let Lisa explain it, but before she does, I want her to explain the charm she has around her
Oh, my
neck.
New Orleans charm. So it is.
Is
And
that what
here's
that
the deal.
is?
So back in 88, when I got sober, we all, yes, in Tyler,
1888.
Texas. So there was a gentleman that worked for Train, and he traveled all over the world. And so every time he would go, he would bring me back something. And so I loved it. So then when I got sober here in 22, then I met a gentleman and he travels a lot. And I said, don't be coming back if you don't bring me something back. So now he brings me and Craig back keychains. And I take the keychains apart and I make it for my chokers. And I love it. So I always have a part of you guys with me.
That's pretty cool. That is a
Yeah.
sugar
I love
skull.
Sugar School.
That's
That's
called a
right.
sugar skull. I have a tattoo of one on my knee. And we have the I believe it's an
It
Hispanic
is.
holiday called the Day
Yes.
of the Dead. And that is actually like come to be the symbol for the Day of the Dead. When you buy, especially in retail, where you're going to buy a cookie shaped like a sugar skull, or a cake has a sugar skull on it, or little kids wear sugar skull costumes and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's talk about this Kitchen
So,
AA.
Kitchen AA. So here's the deal. So we are always talking about, they'll ask you at a meeting that I go to, how's your kitchen AA? And so it's explained, and which is true, is how's it at home? Around your table. That's where you're living your life. So if you have good kitchen AA, then you're probably having a pretty good, decent program. And I love that. I've
Mhm.
learned more from kitchen AA than I probably could have ever learned in a room. Just like all three of us sitting here and talking, it's like kitchen AA.
I got
Yeah.
you. So the big book talks about the true definition or the true example of us practicing these principles is how we act whenever we're around our home, family, work, and other affairs. And I wish I could quote it. It's been a long time since I've quoted it, but that's exactly. I love it. I love it. And I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna jump out and give an example of how my kitchen AA is not very good. Okay, maybe not. It wasn't yesterday. How about that? So my kitchen expands. My kitchen expands huge, right? I'm because I'm here. I'm 1,800 miles away from you guys, and so my family's there where you are. You know, my daughter's there. My two of my grandbabies are there, and my daughter has a she has a baby that has constant need, and so she's always busy. And so I had some medicine that was ready at the local pharmacy right down the road from where you're at. And I text one of my family members, "Hey, can you run by and pick my medicine up?" And sure, no problem. So they ran by, they got my medicine, they text me, "Hey, I got the medicine. Can you send it to me?" And yeah, I'll send it to you. And so 4 or 5 days go by and I have not got my medicine here. And so I just text, "Hey, has have you sent my medicine?" And I got the old, "No, I haven't sent it yet. I was gonna go blah blah blah." And I'm just gonna be honest with you. At that point, I was pissed. I was just absolutely pissed. And yeah, there's my kitchen AA going sideways, left and right. And I bit my tongue because I have learned a little bit about restraint of tongue. And so, but to be quite honest with you, I was pissed. And I was like, well, in my head, I was thinking, how hard is it? If when you need something, I jump through the phone basically to get it and do it as fast as I possibly can. And how come whenever I request something, you put it on the back burner like it's no big deal? Now, granted, keep in mind, we got two sick kids. One of them, my granddaughter, who has absolutely nothing wrong with her other than this peanut allergy, flipped out and had a seizure last week, and they had to carry her off in an ambulance. And then her baby brother's there at the house, hooked to all these tubes and stuff, and so he has required constant care. But here my needs weren't being met in a timely manner. So, but because I feel like I just do so much, I be damned, you're supposed to completely stop your life and take care of this guy that doesn't have to deal with any of that. I just get to go to work every day and record a podcast and go ride my motorcycle, off into the California mountains every 2 or 3 days, right? And so there's a great example of how my kitchen AA probably needs to be worked on. Maybe sometimes before I get the red ass over some, something as simple as medicine. Because I'm just be quite honest with you, if it was that important of a medication, well, I would make sure it came straight to my home, right? So it's not that important of a medication. So my kitchen AA wasn't quite spot on. Now, being able to recognize that and making those amends and doing something about it is another form of the principles that we practice in this. And then, of course, changing hey, look, instead of calling somebody and saying, "Hey, can you go pick up my medicine?" knowing for a fact they're busy and they've got stuff going on, then I need to make other arrangements to get my medicine, because really and truly that's my problem, not theirs. They were nice enough to go stand in line at a pharmacy to get it, and then here I am not getting it overnighted by FedEx and brought to my front door. How dare you? So I get it. And so, Matt, how's your kitchen AA?
It's spotty. It depends on the day of the week, the situation. I get in that same thing that you just described, that's why I was sitting there smiling, because I can do great for a while, and then all of a sudden I have that realization of uh it's all about me. Why didn't you jump through hoops? Because look at what all, well, first off, they don't know what the hell I'm doing or had to do, or do they care? Are they supposed to care?
Ah,
And I'm just like, I'm the martyr over here, like I can't, y'all can't grab me a Dr. Pepper at the store while you're there, you you know, and yeah, never mind they had a flat tire, and kids are acting a fool and everything else. Yeah, and I'm over here like, look at all I do for everyone, So that's been an ongoing battle for me throughout. So, but like you said, I do recognize it
mhm.
today, and I can try to reel that in a little bit.
So, Lisa, how's your kitchen AA?
Recently it's been pretty well. But I think it's because of my mood more than anything. Because it's been a lot. You know how you reflect. And so going back home and hearing about all the old timers that I knew years ago, and it makes me
Yeah.
realize the difference. And my heart, it fills my heart because I just know that these people, they talk about a lot. They go to the big meeting in the sky. And I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be great. I hope that I get to go to the meeting in the sky in the end, and so I knew those people, and it reminds me of a man. His name was Frank King, and he was, God, 90 something years old when I first got there. And he would call my handle on my car, the old shit handle. I'm right with you, old shit. And hold on. And we would just laugh. But you had to go to meetings away because you only had like certain meetings that are very small. And so I love those things. And so now whenever I have like a friend that was had the same sponsor I had, and he said, "Man, I remember going and doing such and such and such and such." And then I can go, "Oh yeah, are you talking about Frank King?" He goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, I love that." You see, some of y'all had that here. You had Woodrow, you had different people. But I didn't have that here, and I missed it. And so I love it. And me and my mother are trying to build this relationship. You got to think about this. At 3 years sober, I took her rights away from her as a grandmother, and I did not speak to her. And now I live with her, and I'm just there to do service work to help her because she has done so much for me, and she's loving me, and she deserves that. And so we really talked a lot about spirit. We go to church together. I mean, listen, we were not church people. You hear me? I thought it would burn down when I got married, but no, no, it's doing fine. I even went and sold pumpkins for the church. Dear God, I didn't say the F word. How the hell did that happen? Because y'all help me. And so, I said something. I said, I think I left Alice in Dallas. If you've ever listened to the podcast, then you know who Alice is. And Alice is getting further away.
We know who Alice
And
is.
I like that. I'm really ready to grow up, Mike, and it's taken me a long time. And so we share those things, and we watch, talk about spiritual things, about having a near-death experience, and people I thought I would never forgive. I have really forgiven, and I hope that they asked for that forgiveness before they went to the big meeting in the sky. And I think to myself, who in the hell am I? Yeah. And when somebody picks up the phone and calls me, I can be there for them. Or I can share it. And listen, this is the big thing. For my mother, she worries about financial things. Okay. So my thought is, I'm like, Mother, we just got to have faith. If you don't have faith, then you're walking in fear, and it doesn't do you any good. She, and she doesn't have our program. She's like, well, now you can do that. That's just really not going to work. I mean, you got to take some action here. And I'm like, it's not that. It's just, why do I have to really live? I've got to believe that if I do the next right thing, it's going to be okay. So let's skip forward a few months. And we're talking about something, and she goes, well, you just got to have faith. I mean, God got us. And I'm thinking, I guess that shit works in your house too. So I liked it.
By the way, Alice in Dallas sounds like a George Strait
I
song. I'm just
know.
saying.
I was thinking maybe since we're all in different states, that'd be a great podcast crew. You got how's it in Texas, how's it in Louisiana, and how is it wherever the hell Mike is, Arizona, I think, right?
Yeah,
Reno,
Oh, Reno.
Nevada, Reno,
Mike is in Reno.
Nevada.
We have club visitors coming
Oh,
in
dear
as we
God.
speak,
Hmm.
coming in the front door. So about to have some
That's
extra
okay.
guests.
Well, that's okay. Do you know them?
I have no idea. I
That's
can't
because
see
he didn't
down there.
lock the
So
door.
Well, I mean,
I locked it
oh,
and he
yeah.
unlocked it.
They may have the code.
hopefully they're
They,
here for recovery.
so
That's what I hope.
I will say this. I can say that I remember a time in my drinking, and there's only maybe my ex-wife and my kids. My son probably don't even remember because he's like me. He's just so self-absorbed. But that I remember my wife. I was married, and I sent my wife to get me. I wanted her to get me some shorts, just shorts, right? And this is where they got to come down to this part on my legs, and I wear a 38, I think, at the time. And here's the deal. I always wear 38, whether they fit me or not. I always wear size 11 shoes. It's pretty easy. I'm thinking I'm pretty easy to shop for, right? And she goes out and she follows the directions to a T, and she brings me back these shorts, and they didn't fit. They were too tight, and I was so pissed at her because my shorts were too tight. And I mean, and looking back, I seriously
Yeah.
blamed her. Like, you didn't get the right shorts. I'm never letting you shop for me again. And by the time we got divorced, and this was many years after this event, but she would not buy any clothing for me at all. She would not iron anything for me at all. She would not cook anything for me at all because because for some reason, if it didn't meet my fancy, my hardcore,
Right.
whatever it is, that she would be blamed.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I'm looking back on it now, and I wonder how the hell she stayed with me so long. And how sometimes I wonder why I got to even like wake up the next morning. I should be
Right.
on Dateline as one of those people that got some got some antifreeze in my got some antifreeze in my Gatorade one night. You know what I mean? Because when it did not meet my specifications, I was a complete
So I got a
jerk.
question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you made an amends to her?
What you got?
Yeah.
I've made a lot of amends to her.
Oh,
Lisa.
listen, you hear that sarcastically there,
So
Lisa?
no, no, I really have. I've made a lot of amends, and that's one of those things. I can't say that I specifically have
Yeah.
sat down and said, I'm sorry for all the times I was a jerk. I remember the first time the first amends I made in recovery, I did without the supervision of a sponsor. I was going to go out and just do it on my own. I was on the ninth step, never talked to about anything. And I felt like the time was right. So I made an amends, and I said, what can I do to make it right? And she said, you can just give me back all of my life that
Oh
you've
God,
wasted up
yeah.
until this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
So there's a
Yeah.
living amends been going on now for about 14 and a half
Yeah.
años.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, but truth is we are both a
Yeah.
lot older now. And we both I think we both look at that situation as just a really, bad time. But I will say this. I had gotten to the point with making amends to everybody, that especially my
Mhm.
immediate family, those
Yes.
kitchen people. I had gotten to where anything they wanted, I would
Yeah.
do. Anything that they needed, I would buy. Anything, so we're talking about basically instead of being, hey, instead of righting this wrong, let me just
Yes.
buy my way
They'll,
out of it. And so that creates a whole
yes.
nother problem because let's just say the day comes where you can't
Yeah.
supply that. Then what do you do? Then all of a sudden you're back to being. So that is not necessarily
Yeah.
the way to make amends. And I've done some foolish things financially in order
Yeah.
to make amends when you don't have to do that. It didn't cost me a dime to be a complete
Yeah.
jerk to those folks, right? And so it doesn't cost me a dime to say, remember that time when you brought those shorts home? God, I was such an idiot. Why? I don't know why I
Yeah.
act like that. I mean, I don't do that very much anymore. I did catch myself yesterday afternoon, and instead of making any kind of amends, I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep my
Yeah.
mouth shut right now. And because if I'm just too close
Yeah.
to the edge. And so uh the last thing I want to do is be a jerk in
Yes.
recovery. That's not, I mean, it feels good to be able to
Yeah.
blame it on the liquor when, back when you were drinking, but when you be a complete
Oh,
jerk
yeah.
in
That's a
recovery,
hard one.
and it can be something as simple as what happened with my
Yes.
medication, or just basically telling people how they wasted your time
Absolutely.
or something like that. My time is not valuable. My time when it comes to helping another alcoholic, it's not valuable. It is actually what keeps me
Absolutely.
sober. And without the gift of recovery, I have absolutely nothing. I don't know who I would think I was. So I like that. I like that topic of
Yeah.
kitchen AA. There's. Have you ever been? I know Lisa probably has. Matt, you probably have. You're not that old. But I remember a time where for some reason, and we're getting close to
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, right? My grandmother and my aunt, and maybe another aunt, and maybe there's a grandkid, and they're all in that kitchen, and it seems like everything's going great at first, but the more people that come into that kitchen, the hotter the kitchen gets, the worse that happens. Then you end up in a
Yeah.
tissy, a fight, some kind of
Yes.
something, because it's getting too hot and there's too many people, right? And these are people that were seasoned veterans of the earth. They've been
Mhm.
around a while, and I can only imagine what it would be like had well, I know exactly what it was like when alcohol was brought into that picture, because the sheriff usually came out and dismissed us on Thanksgiving whenever whenever that's how you
You
knew
are
Yeah.
dismissed.
Thanksgiving
Yeah.
was over, when the sheriff showed up and said Thanksgiving's
When it
over,
smell like pepper spray in the air, it's time. It's time to
Yeah.
go.
turkey and
We
pepper
always had
spray.
someone pull a gun eventually over a basketball game or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, I got to tell you something. So, do
yeah,
y'all remember the last time I was on? My
yeah,
ex-husband was dying, correct? And I had made an
yeah, I remember
amends to
that.
him, and I went to my daughter's house here, and I wasn't going to go home till the next day. Well, whenever I got there, I said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and go. Something told me to go. So I got my car and I took off. And when I got to Tyler, I called my daughter and she said that her dad was dying. And so I made it to their house and I took them the leftovers that we'd had at the intergroup. And whenever I walked into the door, remember, this is the child that didn't know I was her mother. And they all hated me. And so I couldn't see her. Well, so I get into that house and she said, he just took his last breath. And I was able to hold my daughter. So that was such a gift
Yeah,
that I would have missed if I had just didn't. Um, what would I be? Where would I have been if I'd have been blind? I just wouldn't have been a part of. And so it's such a great, I mean, she was my OA baby. I was pregnant with her my first year. So it was incredible to have that opportunity. And to
Yeah.
love that woman that he loved and became the mother of my children. I was able to be there for her and do what y'all had done for me and assure her that it was going to be okay. That is not me. I'm the woman with the gun saying, "Get the hell out of my way. I'm going to run over your ass."
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of still are, Lisa. I mean, we're buddies. You still will get the
Yeah,
gun out if need be,
absolutely.
you know.
But
Well,
I think I can pause. You taught me how to pause. You taught me how to be in
yeah.
that room full of chaos and be okay in the storm. Bobby taught me that. It's okay. You don't have to participate. You can turn and walk away. I didn't know how to do those things. And I think the thing that took me out of Alcoholics Anonymous was that I got to a place to where it was so, my mind started going crazy. The dryness started happening. And I wanted to take myself out, not drink, but just take myself out. And once those thoughts happen, you start doing less and less. And eventually that drink just looked so good. I made myself forget what it was like. And now when something happens, and people that don't understand that's in your kitchen, they don't understand that. They're just like, well, just don't drink. You'll be fine. And I'm like, well, shit, no, that's not the way that shit works for
Yeah.
me. I need to talk to an alcoholic who's going to understand that my brain has got 15 committees and somebody's trying to win. And they don't get.
I think a lot of people don't, especially non-alcoholics, they seem to think, I've even heard
Yeah,
comedians, right? And they make
yeah,
jokes about it, hey, just, your life's falling apart because of a
yeah,
drink, just stop drinking. And that makes way too
yeah,
much sense. That is,
Way too
you know,
easy.
the yeah, it's too easy. And the truth is that, like, if that worked, we wouldn't have rehab centers, we wouldn't have AA meetings or NA meetings or GA meetings. I mean, just the truth is there is something about the brain of an alcoholic that just
no,
doesn't make any sense. And I've been sober a long time. I have. I've been sober what would
yeah,
be considered a long time, and it does not, even to this day, I don't think about drinking.
right,
Okay. But if I think about my life sometimes, if I still drank, and I was telling them the other day, a group of people that I work with, we were standing around talking about it, and it might have been today actually, but I was telling them, when I would get off, I would drink, I would go to the liquor store and I would buy half a gallon of vodka. And, and I've seen people come in AA and they were like, I was drinking a half pint a day. Like, what? Man, I drooled a half pint out after I passed out, what I mean? But to me, a half pint
yeah,
doesn't make any sense. I bought six
yeah,
half gallons, not, that's what,
right,
3 gallons of vodka. I didn't, not to this alcoholic, that
right,
doesn't make any sense to be a 6-pack. Why do they even
yeah,
sell it in a 6-pack? And I read a book and it'll be like, yeah, dad came over and me and him split a 6-pack. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Who who
right,
splits a 6-pack? Who even
right,
starts with
right.
a 6-pack? Like what me and dad split
That's right.
85
Yes.
beers. That might make a little more sense, or
I don't
yeah,
want
just
one.
all or
No,
nothing, man. And so the whole concept of none, and then to think that I'm just going to be a really nice person without
absolutely.
this alcohol in my system is even worse, because I mean, if you don't have any kind of program, no kind
Hmm.
of support, no kind of education on it, you're chomping at the bit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And eventually
Yeah,
AA
right.
doesn't work. You're going to tell yourself,
Right.
AA doesn't work. AA, and the truth is, I mean, it does if you
Absolutely.
work it,
And that was a
right?
fine
And
example
that's where
of
those,
kitchen AA, what you just did when you were at work. There
yes,
it is.
yeah. It does. I mean, yeah. And I talk to people a lot. As a matter of fact, sometimes it amazes me because I don't tell everybody, but it's not a secret. If it comes
Right.
up, I'll talk about it. But people will be like, "Yeah, man, we went out last night," and I'll start asking, "What'd y'all do?" "Oh, we went to a concert and I got hammered." "What'd you have?" "I drank 3 margaritas at a restaurant." 3 fucking margaritas? What? you, you you didn't get hammered. you, you didn't even get started. Like, what a boring ass night. I want a sombrero for drinking 34 one time. I mean,
Leave the margar out. Just give me the tequila.
Yeah, just leave the
Right.
ice out. That starts hurting your throat after a while. I mean, it gives you a brain freeze. Oh man, I don't want to stop until I hear the police say freeze. And then we're
That's
having a
right.
good time. Well, it's like when people when they say that, we went out, we had a good time. I want to say, well, what time they bail you out, man? You made it to work pretty good.
You
Like,
did good.
you didn't get bailed out. You didn't have a good time.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, and then my favorite's when they can remember it, man.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
remember what they did.
Don't wake us up
Yeah.
at 12.
I like to
Yeah.
be reminded. That's when when
Yeah.
others remind you. It's like, hey, remember you and that monkey? I'm like, what? What happened? Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
Did you see the story about the truck
Oh,
that turned
yes.
over that had a
Yes.
whole bunch of primates
Yes.
on it, or monkeys, or whatever they was, and like they were, I don't know what they were doing, but Theo Vaughn tells on his, down in Covington, Matt, there is a primate
Yeah.
research facility.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so what they do is they have all different kinds. They have, I guess that would be your regular monkey, apes, chimpanzees, things like that. And one time they all got loose, and part of his school had to go over there and search through the woods. I've been to this place and search through the woods to find these things. So that would be my drunk story right there, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went down to the primate range and let them all loose.
And the one about buying hamsters with tattoos of like 311, like band names on them. That's the kind of shit I would wake up to. It's like, where'd
Yeah.
I get this
Yeah.
hamster with ACDC tattooed on his body?
Yeah. Not good.
So,
Absolutely,
or me
man.
and the hamster both
Yeah.
with matching tattoos. That's even.
Or you have a new last name.
So,
So everybody,
I said,
yeah.
or you
what,
could have a
Lisa?
new last name and you just don't know how that happened.
Oh, yeah. That nothing reminds me more of my drinking career than the show The
Oh, I know.
Hangover.
Absolutely.
Because, but I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, somebody stole my idea, because I wake up like this every
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they just all the crazy stuff, man, and oh God, I'm glad I don't
Right.
have to live like that. And so one of the reasons why I brought all that up, all that chaos, all that, and it may be
Right.
funny, right? And that's the life we lived. And actually, it's not. It's terrifying when you're
Absolutely.
living in that, and you wake up and you don't know if you've ran
Mhm.
over somebody or you physically hurt somebody, and you have all those things going through your mind. And then we find recovery thinking that life's going to suck. And here we are, all of us, years later, talking about something like
Yes.
Kitchen AA and how we practice our program around the people
Yeah.
that we care about, and how we recognize some of the character defects that we carry around with us. But now that we recognize them, we can do something about it. So it literally goes from being the center of your life to living a good life being the center of your life. And that is the life I used to live, and I can use it
Mhm.
as an example as to this is how my
Right.
recovery's going. This is what's happening. And then it shows that newcomer, hey, it doesn't matter if you got 15 years or if you got 30,
That's
you're
right.
not perfect, and you still need to be working some form of program in order to understand that life is right there. It doesn't matter how old we get. My body probably couldn't do some of the things it used to could, but it's right there. That sucky life is just right there at the core of it. So, so guys, we've been doing this for 40 minutes. We have started cutting down the size of the episode so we can record more. So, any of y'all got any closing remarks for the audience?
Just keep coming back.
If you guys see one of those monkeys, just stay away from it.
If you see us with monkeys, stay away.
Yeah, keep coming. Well, we gotta make sure we thank the studio audience for being here. Yeah, these guys do a lot for us. Hey, calm down. All right.
So y'all kept me sober today.
But Lisa, and you kept me sober. I appreciate you guys again. Lisa, look forward to seeing you in the near future. Matt, I'll probably see you later in the week. But from Bossier City, Louisiana, and Reno, Nevada, we are all three, the Grouch and the Brainstorm.